Hi everyone and welcome back to the bench. About 3 years ago I built this irrigation controller for my backyard that I hooked to my drip irrigation hose to control this electronic valve from a washing machine, and this was programmed with ESPHome as part of my home assistant system, and it was working flawlessly for the past 3 years. In fact, it is still working exactly as designed, but the time has come to do an upgrade on the system because I've recently separated the system. I added more hose and I separated it to 3 zones. So we're gonna be now upgrading this to control this new 3-way valve so we can split the different zones and water them independently. Now, the main issue that I had with just a single zone was that when the hose got too big, the problem was that there was not enough pressure going in to feed all the high zones, and this has nothing to do with the controller. The controller was running perfectly, and I went in and got this valve from a used washing machine and separated all the hoses into 3 distinct zones. So instead of having just a single relay, we're gonna be converting the system to have 3 different relays, so I can program it to run each zone independently for that same specific time, so water gets everywhere where it's needed. And before we jump into any of the details of the build and how we're gonna do the upgrade, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Altium Develop.
If you build electronics, you know how complicated collaboration can get. Different tools, endless meetings, and version chaos that slows everyone down. Altium Develop changes that. It's a cloud platform built for real co-creation, bringing electrical, mechanical, software, and sourcing teams together in one shared space. Instead of jumping between disconnected tools, everyone works on the same data in real time. Designers can create schematics and PCBs, procurement teams can manage parts and pricing, and manufacturing can review designs before production, all in one place. Every change, comment, and decision stays in context, so no one's left guessing. You can track progress, manage requirements, and resolve issues before they become problems. No silos, no delays, just clear, connected teamwork that keeps projects moving fast, where it's easy to bring the right people into the process whenever you need them. If you're ready to move from working together to working as one, check out Altium Develop at the link in the video description.
Now, to control the 3 different valves, I also prepared this board. This is a 4-way relay board similar to the one that we had there, which is optically isolated and can be controlled from 3.3 volts. This is powered from 5 volts because this is all 5-volt relays, but on the end it will be controlling the 220 volts that are needed for the electronic valve. So if you are to replicate this project, I'm gonna ask you to be extra careful and only do it if you know exactly what you're doing, because you'll be dealing with mains voltage and this voltage might kill you. But as an alternative, you can also find valves that work on 12 volts DC. So instead of dealing with 220 volts, you could also work with 12 volts if you want to replicate the same. Now, to give you a little background, the red wire will be the incoming from the mains that is connected to all of the common ports on the relay board, and I'm reusing the same wires that came from the washing machine with that 3-way valves. So I'm gonna be using relay 1, 2, and 3 for control of each of the valves separately. Relay 4 in this case will be just unused because I don't have anything connected to it. Maybe if we need to, we can add a 4th zone later on. But now let's start by first taking this out of the box and removing that one relay, replacing it with some cable that we're gonna be connecting the 2 boxes together. I could have used a larger box to house all of this together in a single box, but I think that having them both separated like this can work, and I'm gonna probably add something to hold them up like this, and I have them both mounted underneath my sink that I have in the backyard, which also keeps them dried. This has been outside for 3 years, and you could see it gathered some dust, but it was never subjected to any moisture or any water because it's well sheltered under the tap. Now in this case, because we were not using an isolated relay, we had to do a switch with transistors so it can control the 5 volt from 3.3. This is optically isolated, so we will not need to do that, but instead we can just use the pins as they are on the update. We're gonna need 5 volts and grounds coming in from this 5 volt power supply that this has been running on, and also we're gonna be just providing mains to here. Everything else will be connected separately outside of the box. Now let's start by removing that relay from that board, and we need to figure out how we can add the cable to connect it to the other side. I'm gonna start by first removing the wires so I can separate everything from here. Unfortunately, this one was soldered on before I added the crimps on the end, so I'm gonna have to cut it, but that's okay because that will be replaced anyway. Now I'm not sure if I did solder. Yes, I have this soldered on, so I'm gonna use my soldering iron to just take it out. Okay, so the relay is out, and I also had this NTC thermistor on the end here to measure out the outside temperature, and I'm gonna be keeping that in because I still want to have that in place. Now I need to figure out, so this is the V in, so this is the 5 volt coming in, so we'll need to tap out of that. I'm gonna keep the transistor just for the time being, although we will not be using it. And yeah, I'll see. I'll probably need to remove this from here because it no longer connects to the required pins. Yeah, maybe it's the best idea if we just clean up entirely this old circuit and remove all the components, just to be clear and to know that we have the exact functionality. Okay, so we now have a clean slate that we can work with. We will need to provide V in, ground, and 3 wires for the control cable. And I was thinking I'm gonna be probably using just a UTP cable for networking because we're gonna have 8 cables from within it, and we can just ignore and not use the 3 of them in this case. For the NTC, we actually have a separate resistor that I have underneath there, so I'm gonna be leaving that in because we will need that for the voltage divider for the NTC probe. Okay, so I cleaned up the box a little bit and drilled out these 2 holes for the cable glands, and I'm gonna be passing these 2 wires. So one of them will be for the mains for the power module, and the other one will be for the cable that I'm gonna use for the signals. Okay, so I strip out the end and trim out the wires that we need. So I'm gonna use brown for the V in, so for 5 volts. I'm gonna be using white brown for ground. I'm gonna solder those in, and then the 3 wires that will be for the control of the relays. All of this will be extra, so we will not be using it right now, but we can probably find a good use to them in the future. Now I'm gonna thread the wire here on the end and solder it to where we had the VN before. So this is the incoming wire from the power supply. And here on the end it will be ground. We can use any of the ground pins on the NodeMCU. And for the relay pins, I'm gonna be using pins D1, D2, and D6 because the rest of them will go low depending on the conditions, and this should be safe enough for you. So let's add the one, and I'm gonna use the green wire for it. Okay, so the blue wire will be D2, and this was already the pin that was controlling the relay that we had before. And finally, this last one will be on the 6, which is way over here. Okay, that should be it. Now let's figure out how we're gonna be packaging it through the case. And also, we previously had these two holes here that I was using the LEDs from the relay as an indicator whether it is powered on and if it's running. Since we will not be using the relay here and we're gonna have a different set of relays, I'm kind of hesitant to figure out if I'm gonna reuse them because they were never really useful. So I'm just gonna leave them out, and I'm gonna add some sticker on the front for the time being. All of this we can now just pack up, and I'll use just a tiny piece of electrical tape to hold everything in place inside the box. Okay, that fits nicely, but we're gonna be probably having issue with the cable here on the end, so I'm gonna just move this connector somewhere to the end here. Let's see how that will go. And finally, let's add the mains cable that will be the incoming supply. I'm gonna tighten this up so it grips the cable so I can insert it into the pins. We can add a bit more wire to the end here, and we can tighten this as well. Okay, that should be fine. Now let's work on the other side. Okay, so the cable is in. I have the wire stripped on the other end, and I think that I'm gonna be adding just a female header here. So I'm gonna solder the wires directly to that female header so we can just plug it in and have everything connected as it should be. And here is the cable prepared. We can just plug it in. So VCC is on the far left and the ground is on the far right, with all of the wires as we had them connected on the other side. So hopefully this will now be our controller. I'm trying not to get the wires too close to each other, but this should be fine. Now, the one thing that needs to be done is to program the NodeMCU to be aware of this new pins. And since I'm doing this change and I'm moving away from Home Assistant for my own platform that I talked about in my previous video here, I'm gonna be installing Tasmota now on the module, and to do that I'll need a USB cable, but we need to make sure that nothing is plugged in on the other end on the mains. Okay, now everything is installed and ready. I did do the installation off camera because I wasn't exactly sure how long it's gonna take, but it was fairly simple. I'm using a custom build that I slightly modify for my own purposes, but that's irrelevant for the project. You can use whatever build of Tasmota that you have available for your microcontroller. And in this case, I'm now currently powering everything through mains, so we need to be a bit careful because we have mains there, but this is all low voltage side. And if we open the web interface for the Tasmota firmware, we can see that we got the 3 relays as well as the temperature reading from the NTC. Inside the configuration, I chose a generic type and I specified D1, D2, and D6 as the appropriate relays. I'm using inverted because this relay triggers when it's low, and on pin A0 I'm setting up ADC temperature. Now, depending on your configuration, you will need to make sure that you calibrate the sensor based on the exact NTC that you have, and this is well explained within the documentation. But now, if we toggle any of the relays, you could see that immediately it turns on, and I can toggle any of the 3, which is exactly what I wanted and exactly what I wanted to achieve. Now, the final step is to pack everything up here on the bench, install this under the tap in the backyard, and connect the valves so we can try it out on the actual hoses and verify that it still works as expected. Now, it will be a bit difficult for me to film working under the sink outside, but I'll update you once I have everything installed there. Okay, so here is now everything installed. I'm filming this outside, so I'm not sure what the audio will be, so stick with me. Over there, this is the 2 electrical boxes that I wired in. There's power coming in from the wall back there, and you could see the tap that I'm using to get the water out. That goes through the hose and it comes here to the valves. Now, I had to replace the valves with a new one because the one that I had an issue where one of the coils was not opening because it was stuck shut from being used or being in storage for a long time, so I had to replace it with a new one. Everything is now under pressure and I tested it. It works perfectly fine. Let me show you that. So the system in the backyard is split with these 3 hoses coming in from the valves, and one of them goes up this section that goes up there. One of them is for this section over here, along with the second one there at the end, and then one goes on the other end over there that goes to the section that is on the far right of the house. Now, you could see I have the original the Tasmota page here, and I can trigger one of the valves and you could see that water immediately starts running. Let me find a good place that I can showcase that. So you see the dripper doing its thing and opening the valve, and as soon as we toggle that off, the water actually stops, and I can do this separately for all 3 of the zones, and I can now have sufficient pressure in my garden. And with that, I now have my irrigation system ready. If you like this video, then be sure to leave it a like down below. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video next, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Cheers!